welcome to the stream. How's everybody doing? Chat, how is the audio? Can you guys hear the audio?
You hear us, more
Can you
importantly.
hear us?
Hello, hello.
We have welcome to Sketch Fighters. We have Courtney on chat, joining us for a while. It's good to hear from Courtney.
Hello, everybody.
And remember a guy named Jerry? Remember him?
Jerry, yeah. Jerry's married, so he's
Okay.
he's gonna be.
What? Sean's married? What do you mean?
Sean's
Oh, but
been,
he cares about his wife.
yeah, Sean's been married much longer, so there's a 20-30 year difference. So let's see. I think today we're going to start with a Frieren challenge. Is that what is it called?
Yeah.
How do you pronounce that?
Frieren?
I think you're right, Bernard.
Frieren?
Frieren?
Let me see. Let me pull this up.
It's supposed to be a pretty good anime. I have not watched it.
Frieren challenge.
Well, but the thing is, like, there's a thing like where people are, or with this one artist, I'm assuming it's a young artist, posted something on Reddit. Is it Reddit? And it was an up angle shot of a character.
Mm-hmm.
And then we've seen a lot of other people try to tackle this same image.
So this is a piece of fan art, that the original one, or is it from the anime?
I think this is a piece of fan art. Can you see it on the screen?
Yeah. Yeah, it's pretty gnarly. Everyone's seen it. It's pretty gnarly.
Yeah, so this has been making the rounds the last, what was it, like 2 weeks now?
Yeah, and the people who are putting up their fixes are all like really good. I mean, all the ones I've seen just kind of knocked it out of the park.
But then there's some that I noticed, I feel like they're not really getting that up angle. You know, the difficulty part of this is a 3/4 upshot. So this is technically, and I think, Sean, where would you say the difficulty in this lies? I have my theories. But Sean or Courtney, since Courtney's into anime too, manga.
Well,
I think it is different for manga than it is for like more American comic book style for sure.
Yeah, but I mean, drawing is drawing. And, you know, anime manga definitely has its own stylistic kind of preferences, but that aside, Sean, why do you think this is so difficult?
Well, the easiest view is the front view, but this is from 3/4, but it's 3/4 and below. So it's the most difficult view you can pick to draw on the human face. So this is like a challenge because it's so difficult. But for you, this is like Tuesday night for you. It's like you always draw the figure from below, 3/4 from below, and I always point it out, like, oh, you picked the hardest angle. So this is something we do for breakfast, but it's not for the faint of heart. It is the hardest.
But this is still, to me, the difficulty in this particular angle is that we're seeing the bottom of the chin, and this line that the artist has drawn to indicate kind of like the V is almost like a V, right? Like a upside down heart, to indicate the bottom of the chin. Like, we never really see that, or we very rarely see that line that defines the chin. And when that line is drawn, it creates such a like visual, like 90-degree angle.
Okay, I have something to say about that, because the people who've been really knocking it out of the park with when they fix it, a lot of them are like painters. So that's sort of like cheating, because if you wanted to do this with line work only,
Yeah.
even without color, it's extremely hard. But then if you're an oil painter, or if you're like, like I think the best one was Sam Does Arts. He did a really good one, but he's a digital painter. So you have color gradations and shadows you can put in there. But if you're a guy that works like like I don't know, an artist that just uses line and maybe not even that much hatching, it's nearly impossible. You can do it, but it's not something you can point out and say, look how I did this, because it's always going to hurt because of you're missing some things in your tool chest that you're not allowed to use.
Yeah, I mean, I think this sample of
Jerry's here. Jerry can do it. He can do anything.
Jerry, welcome to the stream, Jerry Ma. I don't hear Jerry.
Who's that?
Is Jerry here?
Jerry Ma.
He's in the chat.
Oh.
As usual, he won't come into the Discord.
Shame.
So the key is, well, this is like a quick, here's a quick sample. If I were to continue working on this. Now this angle, I'm gonna do a couple different versions, but this angle is not even, this is really, I mean, it's an upshot, but I mean, does anybody want to jump onto Discord to help continue drawing this?
I think what's going on with the person who kind of failed is that they envisioned the figure looking way up into the sky. So they started drawing that jaw that way. But then when you start drawing the facial features, you kind of forgot how extreme that was, and kind of tilted the head kind of downward, so that you have two clashing perspectives there. And that's a very common thing, because even when I draw this, I envision in my sketch it's looking way up. But then when it's done and inked, I'm like, hey, how come he's like looking like 15 degrees down lower? So you either have it work in one perspective or the other, but this one has a clash of perspectives.
Yeah, and even if we were to go, let's say we go even further up, the neck and how it connects to the face, it really becomes, at some point you're not going to be able to see
one of the eyes is gone.
Yeah, one of the eyes is going to be gone because it's going to be covered. The neck is going to be you got to remember that this is a volumetric, cylindrical, round.
And so this might work in construction phase, but you're not delivering a construction drawing. You're doing a finished drawing. So at some point, you have to erase that jaw line. And when you erase it, then something weird happens. Like all of a sudden, the person has double chin, or he has no chin, or they become like 10 years older. So like, how do you do it when you have to get rid of that one construction line?
Yeah. The draw line, that's, again, this line that he's drawing here, that can, in many ways, throw off the whole drawing itself.
Lighting is an issue too, so if he's in high noon, then it wouldn't just be a line, it would just be a black triangle. Then you have that problem of that sharp jawline being there again. So doing this in line is very difficult. But we do it all the time, but we just don't call attention to it because it's hard to do it perfectly. And if you're a person that works in oil paint or airbrush, and you can't do this, then God help you, because you have everything you need. Just look at reference, and you can just shade it however you want.
So even at this, the neck itself, some of this the neck itself needs to also be, kind of, it's curved. The neck is really, a lot of times it's curved. And what are these muscles called that are on the side of the neck?
Sternocleidomastoids.
Yeah, so
It
those
goes from the sternum to the
those
clavicle to the
yeah, so
mastoid.
those are also kind of curved. And even at that, if we were to go, let's see, make this.
One thing cool, like you're not working with the original reference model, but he has ears like Yoda, which look kind of cool from this angle because then they're like wings that go way back, and then there's an earring on it.
Yeah, but then the ears he's drawn too far up. So here's another version. Let me try to move this head around. The other thing that
he's looking further and further up every time you draw it.
Yeah, well, I think that's what he was trying to do, right? I mean, the difficulty is the further up he goes, the further up the character is looking, the more difficult it gets. Because the more unhuman or unnatural that we're used to drawing. Everyone's used to drawing faces. Even when you're looking at faces, you're looking at them almost square dead on. So,
So what this is doing is teaching AI how to do this because there's so many of them.
Speaking of which,
there's always AI talk to do.
Speaking of which,
oh no.
The discussion needs to be made, needs to be had about amplifying suspected AI artists. And how do we...
Witch hunt?
Well, there was that guy that I sent you, was it yesterday or the day before?
Yeah, he's pretty sneaky because he hit it well. But
yeah, it's
you
very
really do
well
have to search.
But if you
but
look
the latest AI has watermarks, right? That you can I just put it in the Google image and I'll just tell you, yeah, this is AI, and then you don't have to look for anything.
Can you do that? How do you do that?
Well, I think the latest AI stuff does that. I think it might be. We're in the Wild West now. It's going to be.
That's with ChatGTP. That's with ChatGTP. If you're like writing a report, there's things in. If you have ChatGPT, write your like book report.
Yeah.
But what about drawings? There's nothing in drawings.
Right? Yeah, there is. In some of the programs there are, and they'll be required by law at some point because it is theft. So.
Well, this
guy. I think now, even with the reports, ChatGPT or other like AI are saying that certain reports are written by AI, even though they're not. Yeah. So I don't think
people are failing. Yeah, failing. It's like I didn't copy.
Well, I saw
AI.
Yeah, I saw one where, in terms of written reports, there's one that actually looks at the file and pulls up the history of how the article is typed. And based on the rhythm of typing, you can determine if it's an AI or a human in certain probabilities. Because if you're writing, sometimes you'll pause. You'll write stuff or you'll make grammatical mistakes. But that's with writing, and I think it's an easy thing to do, or it's an easier option. But with drawing, this guy, this supposed artist, I think he's using AI. And I think also he's tracing. And so he's either tracing AI or he's tracing other figures, and then he's pumping them through an AI filter or an AI, he's taking, instead of like, he's using the drawing as a prompt or the picture as a prompt for the AI to then generate something. And then he might, do a little bit of touch up in Photoshop or what he's calling Rebel 8 or Rebel 7 or whatever, or Rebel program, and then claiming it as his own. And the thing is, like, the stuff looks impressive. However, if you look at his Instagram page and you look at the history of works, and you look at other pieces that he posted maybe a few weeks ago or a month ago, there are extreme deficiencies that don't match up to a particular skill set. So, like, if we're going to draw this upshot pose, if you can do this upshot pose, you should be able to do a 3-point perspective. You should be able to draw a car fairly adequately, because this skill set.
You know, that one thing I noticed when he did like a Harley Quinn.
Yeah.
And I saw the Harley Quinn. I was impressed. I liked it initially because I just like, where's this guy been all my life? Because this guy's amazing. And then later on, you showed it to me. But then I was like looking closer at it, and she has like one of those like straps that you would hang a gun on, like a leather shoulder strap.
Mm-hmm.
And it went over one shoulder and went down, and then went over around her neck and went down again. And it's like, well, there's no gun there. It just kind of disappears, and the strap is just, like a belt. She's like looping a belt around her neck.
Yeah.
For no reason. There's nothing hanging off it. And then the belt was so elaborate with all this detail, but it doesn't lead anywhere. I was like, well, that's a strange choice. As if like, and you can usually tell because there's things in there that, like, why would you make that decision? It's so well drawn, but it's a strange thing to include in your drawing. It's like out of left field.
Right. Like, it's almost laziness. To me, it's insulting because of the laziness, and that, or like the giveaways were the hands, and it's still the hands at some point. Not that there were 6 fingers, but that the index finger was the same length as the ring finger, and there were, how it's placed in terms of its perspective. It just didn't match up to a skill set. And, art is something that if you're able to draw something in a particular angle, you're able to do that consistently, which is in a couple of his pieces, then either A, you're tracing from photos, or B, you're using some kind of cheat code. But then, these things, like, just go back in there and spend another hour or two fixing it or learning from it. But it's just, to me,
you can do that though.
Well, I mean, you can try to do that. It's not like he couldn't draw at all. There's other pieces that he did, like earlier in the year or the year before, were like.
Wait, who is this person?
I don't know.
You named him?
And we don't want a lawsuit.
I'll DM you. I mean, I suspect he's using.
I just want to look at Instagram because.
Sean, can you text it to the chat?
Oh, I don't even know what it's called anymore.
It's okay. It's okay. If you don't have it.
Yeah, I don't know his name, but.
So, do you think he's getting more work? Because I feel like as an artist,
he's not getting any work at all. He's not getting any work right now. But a lot of there's been a lot of pro artists that have liked some of his pieces recently. That's how it came up on my feed.
Maybe they just don't know then.
Sean,
because
Jerome,
I think it's
liked
obvious. I feel like you're able to notice, like, hey, there's AI happening here, but maybe, some people just get things pitched to them on their Instagram. They're like, oh, cool, I'll just like that, not really, look deeper into who that person is.
Yeah, no, that's the thing. That's the whole thing, though. Yeah. Like, you see it, as you're scrolling, doom scrolling or whatever.
Yeah.
It comes up, oh, this is good, you hit like, right? And then you move on to the next one, you hit like. Mm-hmm. And the thing is, though, that to me is the slow degradation of standards, which will, in a short amount of time, degrade this barrier and usher in this acceptance of um, this form of theft or cheating. So
Hmm.
the
I feel like as
more,
a professional, they can't. That wouldn't be acceptable though. Like if you're just doing art, people are gonna be like, I guess there's AI. Um, I see certain things sometimes, and I'm like, wow, it looks great, and then I look closer, and I'm like, oh god, that's AI, and that's terrible. So I don't know. I think enough people are against it anyways that they won't accept it.
yeah, but
And other people
they're
have come
liking
out.
it. They're liking it, and they're amplifying it. And because they're liking it, they're amplifying it. Because if they didn't like, if Sean didn't like it, if Jerome didn't like it, if other pros didn't like it, and you look at the list of people who's following this guy, uh, Mike Choi's following him, a bunch of other
Oh,
well-known pros are following this guy because they
I
obviously
see.
probably saw one or two of his pieces, and then
Mm-hmm.
oh, this is pretty good. I'm going to follow this guy. I'm going to look at keep whenever he has a new piece come up. I like to see it. Right? It's just natural. It's kind of how social media
Yeah.
works. But without further investigating, if you're liking it, you're amplifying it, and then it goes onto other people's feed, and people start, oh, if I brought this up, right? How many
Mm-hmm.
people would uh, how many people would agree that it's AI or some form of AI manipulation?
Mm-hmm.
Because this guy also has a bunch of other. He started really with a lot of like 007 drawings, and those are all photo traced. He's not drawing
Mm-hmm.
them, freehand. They're all digitally traced. It's very obvious because then if you comb over other samples of his work, there's drawings that are done that you can tell that he didn't use a photo or wasn't able to get a composite a photo together. He hasn't learned how to cut and paste different photos to make something. Um, because there's perspective issues. There's perspective issues in torsos and arms and shoulders as they're going back or twisting. That if you were able to draw this Supergirl image that he had, or the Harley Quinn image, where that I think is a photo traced image of what's her name, Margot Robbie.
Yeah, it looks just like her. Yeah.
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 And or an AI generated Margot Robbie. I mean, again, I don't know how it works, but my assumption is that there's some kind of component of that.
I see now. He does have a few different, I guess, styles that I'm seeing, which like that shows me, like if I were to look at just his page, I would just already think like, oh, this is just a fan profile that's just picking like art that they like and just reposting it. Like that's what I see originally.
Yeah, and if like someone
But
is just doing it for fun, right? Like,
yeah,
how much do we like? Do I even make an issue out of it if this guy is just doing it for fun, or if this guy is doing this to get work, or has gotten work? Then because like some of it is like photo tracing is accepted. It's an accepted form of cheating in this art world. Uh, you know, obviously there's a guy that wears black spandex shirts at every convention he goes to in a baseball cap. He photo traces everything, but then he uses watercolor. He's not a digital artist. But that's accepted, right? Uh, there's another artist that photo traces that won an Eisner this year. It's accepted. Um, so then the question then really also later on becomes like, well, if a guy photo traces instead of a picture, he photo traces an AI generated image. Is that accepted? Is that okay? And if you're doing it for fun versus if you're doing it professionally, is that okay? Where's the line? Where's the line to be drawn in the sand? Anyways, we're going down a rabbit hole. Sean, how should I? Is there anything with this drawing? It looks a little flat to me. I'm wondering if we might see a little bit more of the brow on the other side.
I would go running to photo reference to get this. Yeah, so it's one thing to do this as like for a guy. A guy has like more angular squared off, and there's more angles and ridges to play off of. And then also, if it doesn't look really pretty, then that's okay. It's a dude. But then like we have this expectation that if this is like a fair young woman or whatever, and you're drawing this angle, it can get busted looking real fast. So it's a very difficult thing.
Is the elf a female?
And I
guess the elf is a female.
Yeah, you should say. Well, I mean, you're actually one of the people that actually really crank that head up the most. And most people accomplish this by partially cheating, by having it look more downward, where it's a little easier. So the further you go up, the harder it is.
Yeah. Because now we're in a territory where the face isn't a complete round circle. It's not like a ball. It's like a ball, but it's not like a ball. I mean, it's the contours of the face goes in and out. There's cheekbones. There's flesh. There's eye bags. There's puffiness. There's parts that come in. I'm not even doing an expression. Imagine if this character is yelling or saying something.
It's impossible.
It's going to add another layer of complexity to this drawing. That I should have named the episode the Frieren Challenge. I'm gonna have to do that. And then as a woman, also as a depending on the ethnicity, if it's right now we're drawing. In Asia, if it is an Asian character, sometimes also a black character, they tend to also have, I don't want to say flatter faces, but similar in terms of the eye area.
The eyes are closer to flush to the surface of the face, and then the Europeans are like set in deeper,
right? So
with a sharper brow ridge.
Yeah, and then the eyes come up, the lips. We can get a little bit of cheating with, if I did the eyelashes. But then this line here, in terms of drawing the chin, that ultimately becomes, a lot of times I might even leave that line out if I'm doing the line art.
Yeah.
Because that will really flatten, because this area really is round. I mean, part of the reason why I have a beard is because it covers the double chin. So if we have an upshot, it really obscures. Or a beard can also define someone. There's a very popular person, political person. His son never had a beard until like 8 years ago. And whenever you saw a picture of him, he had like no chin. But then he grew a beard, so it defined like this chin cheek area.
George Lucas.
Well, George Lucas is he has a beard that really helps hide. Sometimes people have a beard to hide. Sometimes people have a beard to define. And then the like a female neck also.
Once in a while, you'll come across a type of drawing that, depending on your art style, if you draw with line, like as I was saying this before about this guy who has like a Hergé, like a Tintin type style. He draws, when he draws an eye, it's a dot, and that's the style that he's going with. So there came to be a part of the story where it's a close up, and his eyes are like has a surprise expression. So he drew the close up of the head, and then for the first time he drew the whole eye because he's up close. It won't be a dot anymore. But then it looked wrong, and so he had to redo it. And then he determined that he's going to have to back off and not have a close up of the head, and then go back to the dot, and then show the surprise with body language, because certain types of drawings are not something he can do because of the style he chose. And I'm wondering whether, if you have drawn in line and not with subtle shading, whether this is an angle that you're allowed to do in a comic. I mean, it just may not be in your tool chest, and you can't do this and be consistent with the rest of your book.
Yeah, I do think it's very difficult. And then also, if you're working with a colorist, if I were to leave
if that colorist is making that jaw, you're screwed.
Yeah, and I've never worked with them before, so we're not really sure. And then, a lot of it is really sometimes even in the subtlety of, you want to sometimes draw this line, the bottom of the chin line, the jaw line. See, right now I think this is looking a little flat.
Well, so this is what I think it goes on. Like, when we draw this, we draw as part of 100 panels that make up a comic, and it's not one that we point to and single out and say, look what I did. You have to draw it. You can only draw it so that it's passable, and it might look a little weird, but it won't bump you out of the story, and then I would call that a success. But to call it out and make it a challenge and say, like, draw this with line, you don't want to call attention to this shot because it's not going to look that great if you just draw in line, especially if a dead line, like a flat line. Like, you might be able to do better if you have an expressive line, and then also if your colorist works with you and they can handle some of the shading, you might get lucky. But other than that, we draw this angle a lot, and it has to be passable so that it doesn't bump you out of the story. And I think that's all you can ask for.
Yeah, this camera's at a different angle too. So what I'm looking at versus what you're looking at in terms of the camera for the stream.
I think it looks great.
Oh, thank you.
There you go.
The check is in the mail.
I go running to photograph. There's a guy named Sam does art that is really good. But then again, he's one of those guys that has the whole painter's palette to work with. So he can do the subtle shading. If you can see this in real life, then you can do it if you have that airbrush stuff. But
I think a lot of people do just avoid a lot of different ways of drawing people just because it just muddies up whatever kind of type of art style that they have. I mean, anime or manga, like I feel like it is an easier fix because they do kind of like almost a blockhead head style in a way, with a little bit of curve for the chin. Nothing like realistic. It would be one of those drawings that you'd say, like, you would look at and be like, okay, that looks good. But then if you were to like mold it into something like a real human being, it would look like wild. You've seen those pictures where they're like, this is what it looks like.
Sometimes those people, when they cosplay and they put on that anime head on top of their, like, a thin girl's body, and they put this big head on, they look just like they came out of an anime, but it's weird because they're so big and three-dimensional.
Yeah, it just doesn't work out. So But I think that's why it's easy. Like I could draw it, and I know it would look normal for like the manga style, but it wouldn't look realistic. But I think the fan art when they did it, they were trying to do a little bit of both, and that's where it gets oddly hilarious in a way.
I think like the longer you work at it, if you like struggling, you work at it, you find that you'll start to tip the head down, and it just happens. And then you look at it the next day, and then you're like, "Wow, this isn't what I originally saw in my head." But whatever.
Yeah, this is frustrating now. Starting to get to a frustration point. See if I can go even further. At some point,
There's some artist was flexing in a huge way by drawing this figure from every single angle, like filled the page with like 16 different views, some above, side, back, and then tilting and spinning it around like it. And I was like, holy flex! And then it did it really well too. But like, what a way to show off. Yeah, so yeah, this is probably what you started out with, and then the more you struggle with it, the more you'll tilt down into the profile.
I mean, as you're drawing a comic too, part of it is like, I gotta finish this page today, and this panel is only like not even a quarter of the page. You know, how much is it worth it to spend to try to get this angle when you can, well, maybe achieve a particular level of storytelling that you want from something that is. Where is the one that the guy has all the examples of this?
I don't know. I mean, because I've seen them all day long. I don't see who did it, but when I saw it, it's like this guy practically did like a rotating animation. But I think the one that did it the best was Sam Does Art. Inkwell tried it and did okay, I guess. But yeah, I think people have to realize there's a huge difference between doing this in line and with like airbrush type tools. If you have gradations and shading, then that's a different ballgame.
Let's see. Who are the other ones? Let me.
And also, there's no one. If you're trying to, like, you can't. It's hard to show any shading if you're using ink. Usually, what you do is hatching or cross hatching. But then, when a guy has like a 5 o'clock shadow, that's what hatching in that place usually is. So you're drawing this like 16-year-old girl looking up to the sun, and then you got a hatch down there. All of a sudden, she's got like a beard, so that doesn't work either. So it's like there's just certain things that you just can't do, and then you can wrestle with her for hours and not get anywhere. So then you're just like, well, I'm gonna show this from far away. Well, she's got long flowing hair that covers up all the hard parts.
Pretty much a full figure silhouette. All right, let me find if somebody in chat. I haven't said anything in chat. People in chat. I saw El Magusi was first in chat today. Dr. Midnight, good to see you today. Way High's in chat. Jerry is in chat again. Your Jimbo is our moderator. Good to see you, Jimbo. Hope you're doing well. K-pop Junkie is here. Lurky Lurk, all the way from Canada. James Quo. Good to see James Quo.
Young Wavy was here. I don't know if he's still here.
Oh, Young Wavy's here in chat. Good. Young Wavy, hope everything's going well. Young Wavy launched his manga a few weeks ago. There's a specific way it writes and patterns. Same with the people. People have a specific way of writing it.
It's about AI.
Yeah, about back about AI. Nicholas.
And remember that that Sora watermark on those videos. When you're watching something, it's like, oh my god, that guy's head got blown off, and then that little Sora logo appears. Like, oh, it was fake. But that logo, I love and hate it. I love that it tells you that it's fake, but I hate seeing it because like it's just like stop already.
Where is that?
Yeah, I think when all the realistic videos started coming out, and you start seeing things that are really strained credibility. Sometimes there's a watermark that shows up that looks like a happy cloud that says Sora, and then that was done using Sora, and that identified itself as fake.
Okay.
But then they stopped doing that as if they didn't have to anymore. So now when you see something like, oh, there's Donald Trump and Bill Clinton doing something sexual, it's like, well, that could be real. I don't know, because they don't identify it.
Yeah, you're not going to know by the end of the year. You're not going to be able to know.
I gotta get going, guys. I'm late for dinner.
All right.
Oh, okay.
Courtney.
Yeah.
Good to hear
talking
from
again.
you.
Hope everything.
Everything's doing good. Yeah. Okay. Well, I'll happy holidays, guys. I can't believe it's Thanksgiving already. That's so crazy.
Thanksgiving. Happy
All right,
Thanksgiving.
Okay.
All right, take care.
Catch you guys later. Bye.
Yeah, man. You're not going to be able to tell by the end of the year those videos.
There is a digital watermark that's it's not visible, but then when you run it through Google Lens or something, it can identify it. And I think that's probably going to have to be. One thing I noticed, I used to rely heavily on Google image searches, and Google image search became very powerful. And I used to love it because you look at something and it's something like this, and then it'll give you this option that's more like this, and you click that, and it gives you like high-res images of things that are similar.
Yep. And
the searches went really fast, but they don't do that anymore. So I was like wondering what happened, and mostly it was companies like Getty Images that are saying like, hey, we make money by making these images and making them for sale, and then you just basically giving away for free, like high res, just so it's like fewer clicks to get what you want, and so you can't do that. And I think either they lost that lawsuit, Google lost a lawsuit, so now they have to go back to the older version where they give you a thumbnail, and then you have to click to the original website to see the actual photos. There's one more click, and then they stopped doing that, more like this. So the search can be very powerful and be very helpful, but it infringes on work that other people did. And I think that's going to be with AI too. Like you can use AI to make an image, but embedded in there is something any corporation or any person can just run it through and just say like, oh yeah, this person did not completely create this. And if you buy it, then you could be opening yourself up to having to, I don't know, get a strike somehow.
Here's an interesting thing. Two things. So I do a lot of Google image search, when I'm drawing stuff. And I noticed that a lot of the Google image searches now are AI images. Like I was searching for tigers.
Yeah.
And in the past, there would be actual tigers. But now it's all AI tigers.
Yeah.
So I don't even know if it's real or not. And I got to spend an extra half hour trying to make sure that it's real. I don't want to use AI tigers as a reference point because there could be some flaws to it. It's not perfect, or it's not authentic. And or even like I was looking up dragons, and it was pulling up all AI generated dragons, not
as opposed to real dragons.
Yeah, as opposed to even dragons drawn in history, like Chinese dragons, or Asian dragons. It was giving me only AI generated images, and I'm like, I don't want this. I want to see the original from like scrolls or old paintings and try to find cues from that so that then I can create and modify and kind of come up with my own version. So it's it's frustrating. I'm looking at the image on the screen, and it's not the same as the image that I'm. It's not the same as the image that I'm looking at in front of me, or is it? And I'm and I'm going crazy.
It looks really good. You should post that as your Frieren. But I mean, you should look at the original. The cool one of the cool things is from that angle, which is a great angle for to see a person. But in particular, this elf has like Yoda ears that go stretch back and down, which make it like really cool and dramatic. And then you should post this as your entry.
Where's the one? Did anybody find Yojimbo find the link to the guy that did the whole turnaround? As Sean mentioned,
yeah, I don't know. There's been so many submissions that it's hard to find one again. I don't even know what this original character looks like, because this is like a bad drawing of a real character.
Frieren.
Frieren, yeah. It's like really long Yoda ears that sweep backwards like wings.
Oh. I guess, maybe I should look up what this is. So this character is called Frieren?
Well, I think the show is called Frieren, and then this could be either the character's name or it's an elf in the anime.
Yeah, yeah.
But yeah, Sam does a good one.
That's the image. Sam does art.
Sam does art is such an amazing artist.
Is it a YouTube or is it a Instagram? Sam does art.
Oh, there's the Instagram. Yeah, there's an Instagram.
Let me find the Instagram.
And it's so painful to see that attempt.
Nobody found the link yet. Okay. Instagram.
Yeah, I think yours is probably the one that's the most cranked up, because I think everyone cheats by bringing it down some, but the one you did is ambitious as hell. I think it might be the most ambitious one yet.
What is his? Sam does art. Okay, let's see this one here. Yeah, this is not.
I think he draws a few different. Yeah, it's a little bit cheating.
Yeah,
and I think he does like a few angles. But like, look at that face; it's beautiful. That's the typical face that we draw, like 3/4 from below. We never go much beyond this because then you lose the other eye.
This is on X. Sam Yang. Is that the guy?
That's his name. On Instagram, he goes by Sam Does Art. But he does this in like 5 minutes.
Sam Does Art. This guy has a YouTube channel too, right?
Yeah, it's really good.
Okay, so here it is.
He also has a passionate hate for AI.
Let's see this guy. Let's see this. Let's see the other options. That,
You think the other angles are like very weird.
Just this one? He only has like 2 or 3.
Yeah, what is that one with like looking down her nose?
That's like if the camera was right on her nose, right on her eyes.
Why even draw that?
I only see these three. I don't see anything else. Where are the other ones? Just those two?
Well, whenever I'm scrolling, I would see them. I never even look at who did them. Yeah, he only did those two drawings, I guess. I thought he did 3 angles, but yeah, his angle is kind of conservative. So I think you should show yours because yours is really cracked up. What the hell?
So if we were to add,
let's see that reflected light down below that's red.
yeah,
You can't do that when you have all line.
because that is, yeah. I mean, it is a little bit of like, if you were to, line is the issue where one line can indicate shadow or form. And at times it can be very, what you might be trying to do in terms of indicating a form might inadvertently be creating a shadow. So,
like the thing I talked about, like trying to create a shadow with hatching, but then you created a beard on a woman.
Let me use this and
Liquefy.
how are her? So I guess I should open up her eyes a little bit. Even at that, we're not really going to see, at this angle, we won't really see her pupil that much, right? Because this is almost at a, like, let me do this.
But you would never just go for reference because.
Yeah, I'll look up reference too, but sometimes you don't get the exact angle in referencing. You got to type in like female upshot. A good one would be what would the skeleton be?
You would actually draw the skull.
It would be helpful. It's helpful. You can draw the skull. The nose, of course, doesn't come up.
One thing that helps when you crank the head up, the back of the head, how much back of the head there is. That's like behind the ears. There's still so much head below and behind the ears. There's a lot of head back there.
That's what she said. I saw your boss the other Sunday.
Football game.
There was a board game night, but before the football game. Oh, you knew that he was at the football game?
I just saw him post some Instagram stories about it, but I didn't know what game it was or anything.
No, the Rams football game, and also your other boss. Swaggle House.
Who's not the boss? Oh, okay. Well, he was there too.
Yeah, I saw them before the football game. I think this eyeball needs to be bigger.
So drawing that skull really helps you?
Well, not necessarily, but I'm just doing it as an example of understanding um, the skull or the human face.
Right.
If you have the X-ray vision,
Yeah, imagine any type of expression at this angle is impossible.
this might be the whole stream today.
Yes. Well, it sounds like it's like I always point out this is the hardest thing to draw. And no matter how you start your drawings, they get erased and then you end up with this type of thing. Like 3/4 from below is the most drama, but also the most difficult. And I remember there was a YouTube of some guy making fun of reviewing someone's comic. And this person not only couldn't draw this angle, but couldn't draw anything other than a head facing forward. So it's a typical superhero comic. There was a lot of action, but no matter what, whatever the body was doing, the face was looking right at us because that's all he could draw.
He was reviewing it. The reviewer couldn't draw, or the comic book that he was reviewing.
The comic book artist like something strange, and then it's like, oh, he can't draw an angle other than facing front. Oh, there's like profile and facing front, but any of those 3/4 things, like the face becomes the likeness is gone, and then it ends up looking busted. So in order to put their best foot forward all the time, is always facing the camera.
See, even this jaw, if we were to draw the skull, excuse me. This is not the right. Yeah.
What was really funny is that Inkwell tried to do the challenge, and he said that he showed it because it's content, but he claims that he failed at it, and his drawing really wasn't that good. So while he was doing, he says like I usually draw fantasy. I don't draw people as much, and when I draw people, I never really try this. And he says like I'm not that good at this, and so you can see this guy who's basically like, so successful, struggles to draw people because he's always drawing like frogs and fish and stuff like that, and he never broadcasts his weakness.
Also, I would also highly suspect that he probably wouldn't be able to draw a story in New York City to the degree of,
or maybe not even a comic. I mean, a comic is a different animal altogether.
A lot of times, like there was that artist, I don't want to name him, but I talked to you about him before. His stories are all like based in the forest, and I mean, it's a particular reason for that is that you don't have to really understand perspective. You can get away with a lot of perspective issues if you're drawing a story that takes place in the forest, because organic, trees, rocks, even homes in the forest made out of
the Shire.
Yeah, so you can really fudge everything. It really hides.
Yeah. I have the opposite problem. I can't do a fantasy story because I rely on the
You should try.
mathematics.
It's actually kind of fun.
I don't know.
You should try. When I was drawing Demon Knights for DC, I thought I was going to hate it, but I actually ended up really liking it. I'm having a little difficulty with the nose here, but
yeah, that's the hard part. That you get the pig nose. It's almost unavoidable.
Because the nose, in terms of the skull, doesn't come all the way out. But the eyeball here, this is the other issue with the skull, is
your drawing kind of slid under the reference.
Oh. The skull. This would be a good, like, we were doing sketch battles with James Quo. I mean, this would be like a good sketch battle thing, right? Really understanding, like, you have the angle or you have the face, but then draw the skull.
I have a skull.
So I don't. Yeah, this is not a great. But it's an exercise.
Yeah, definitely everyone should try it. Fear no angle.
And also, this is these drawings. It's very stylized in terms of anime. So the proportions of the face.
A little tiny ski jump nose.
Yeah.
And then the big forehead, and then that space between the eyes. There's really no bridge. It tends to be kind of flat and right straight across.
So let's see how I can. Let's see if I can get away with this.
Yes, fill your sketchbooks with this. Oh, Francis Manville has a foam. A lot of people have that foam head with facets cut into it. A lot of colorists use it.
Are we missing anything in terms of the comic book world these days, this week?
I think there's that much.
Batman, Deadpool. Sorcerer Supreme. It's my new book. We don't do enough shameless self-plugging on this stream.
Oh, I do.
I was watching one of the enemy streams, and all they do is plug their own projects. Like 45 minutes in, they haven't even started talking. They're still plugging their projects.
Yeah, you have to do that. It works because there's always that preamble, and it's basically like the first 5 minutes. They go through all that they have coming out, and then they talk about whatever they're talking about, and then they remind you. And I think like a lot of your friends will say like, "Oh my God, that guy is still pushing that stuff," and because you see the feed every day, you gotta. I think if they're really your friends, they'd understand that this is business and you gotta say all this stuff. But yeah, I was a shameless self-promoter for an entire month of October. Every single Instagram post had a link to it.
How come you guys didn't do a Inktober? This is weird. This is I'm having a little problem here with this angle.
Yeah, no doubt. It's not easy.
I think some of it is this. Without looking at a model, I'm drawing this out of my head. There is the cheek here, the other side of the cheek.
Yeah.
And this is the problem with
it's strange. Yeah, you can.
The lip that protrudes out is going to create its own. And again, I'm using line to define this, not shapes or colors.
Yeah, it's funny. You can think like you can handle binary ink a lot easier because it's either black or white, and it simplifies things. And then the people who do color, like, oh, how do you do shading and color at the same time? They're like juggling 3 balls. But then again, in certain things like this, it's easier when there's color because ink is too binary to be able to draw something that requires subtlety to describe the form.
The neck also can't be too far back. Sometimes I draw too long of a neck. It's my. Even though they say a lot of times you draw characters how you look in real life, like I have a really short neck, but I tend to draw characters with a really long neck.
And if I was fooled again, there's another Inktober controversy that so many of the ones that they singled out as best of the week or best of the day or AI. And there was one I really liked, and I kept going back to look at it because I liked what this guy did. Then I find out, like, oh, it's AI. But I think the prompt was something like tears, and the title of this piece was like Tears of Joy, and it was like this girl who was kind of anime-ish cutting onions. I was like, oh, that's a nice drawing. It's all in ink, all that shading and everything, and that character looks great. I kept on looking at it, and then I saw on a list of things that were AI. And I was like, wow, really? And I looked at it again. It's like, oh, yeah. And like, look at that room layout. Things just aren't working there.
Do you feel gypped when you find out that it's AI, or do you?
Well, there's also a bit of relief because, like, that's a level I wish I can get to, and there's someone who's there. So there's like yet another person who's better than me. Like, just that list just keeps growing and growing. Then you find out it's AI, and you're like, oh, so that person really can't draw that. But the weird thing is, like, something can.
Well, the other thing is, like, if like that guy knows he can't draw that way. He can't draw that well. But then he's being a poser. It's like somebody like pretending it's like someone standing in front of a Lamborghini that's parked on the road, posing in front of it, pretending that it's his or theirs, and then posting it on social media. It's the same thing. I mean, he might have a car. Well, he might have a red car, and it's a red Lamborghini.
Imagine if let's say that your family had a business that made a lot of money, and you inherit a lot of money. So you have a nice car, a nice house, and you eat nice food, and everything is great for you. And we should all be happy for you that you are very fortunate to live that way. But then you didn't make that money. So am I supposed to hate you? Like, when I call you a Nepo baby or a privileged or trust fund baby? And there's nothing wrong with inheriting money.
No.
So, and the fact is that you didn't make it on your own. That's a separate issue. But so yeah, these people didn't make these on their own, and they have like a lot of nice things. And I'm like, all right, but you didn't draw it. And there is a difference. Like the person who has the same amount of money but made it with their own hard work. That's a different thing. But I don't know what that says about the person that inherited money. As long as he's not flaunting it and saying he's great,
Yeah, but these people, they know. But it's society today. They personally know they didn't make any of that stuff.
Well, in the hashtags it says AI, if they'll admit it's AI, or like this, they made with Midjourney.
Yeah.
Then at least they're being upfront about it.
I don't see why if AI artists are so proud to be AI artists, then admit it, tag it. Here's the other argument about tagging stuff that's AI, is that it allows the computer, the AI, to then sort out, oh, this is AI, this is real, and therefore it doesn't replicate the AI anymore. That's the other argument.
Oh, wow, never thought about that. But yeah, I guess that makes sense.
That's an argument. It's like, because I was talking to an activist, and I was like, well, is regulation key? And what is regulation? Is it that you tag artwork that's as AI? And their stance was that, well, not necessarily, because if you tag every piece that's AI, then the AI, the Gen AI computer, will see that and say, oh, this is Gen AI. I'm not going to copy this. I'm going to copy or, copy steal from something else that's authentic. Because if it's been proven right now, at least in this early stage, that if Gen AI copies and replicates from previous Gen AI pieces after particular intervals, like 5, 6, or 8 intervals, it crumbles because it's just repeating from repeating. It's almost like I don't know.
Multiplicity, the movie.
No, more
A
like
copy of a copy.
more like incest.
Yeah.
If you have incestual kids, after a couple generations, there's going to be 1 or 2 that are going to be like
Prince Charles.
something that's just have health issues. So with Gen AI, if it replicates other previously Gen AI work, at some point it's going to collapse. So by labeling, this is AI, this is not AI, that only helps AI develop faster.
Yeah, just can't win.
Yeah, I mean, like, you think there's an easy solution, but really, not really. So, I don't know what the answer is.
But I mean, in the end, all this struggling you went through in this past hour to get this to work, it's really working your brain, and your brain is like a muscle, and then it grew, and it's different from than an hour ago. It actually got better. But anyone that uses AI, they have the brain of an artistic brain of an infant, and which is okay if you never need to use any artistic. Like if the AI would do everything from beginning to end, you never have to use any of your ability. So in that sense, it's kind of okay. But I'd rather not be just in that group.
You don't want to be a poser.
Well, yeah, of course not. But I do learn a lot from looking at AI, because it combs through everything, and it's supposedly doing the best. Like if it does a skin tone, this is the most popular skin tone out there. It gets the most likes by everyone, and they picked it, and they kind of pick it out for you. So you can take that and apply it to your own work.
How does her uniform look? If there's like a
Sergeant Pepper outfit.
All right. I think it's time to get out of here.
There's real work to be done.
We have spent an hour on this, and I need to get back to work. I gotta finish up a couple commissions. So.
You gotta stop taking commissions.
No, these are from a while ago. So.
So the thing is, they would pay for those commissions. Like, what really hurts is like if they paid for it and then you spent that money a long time ago, and then you're like, oh, I gotta do the commission. It almost feels like you're drawing for free, because you spent it on sushi like 2 years ago.
Right.
But then, so now you're just drawing for free.
It's already done. And I gotta add backgrounds and other extra shit. Because it's late.
The late penalty.
The guilt. I mean, is Carson in chat? Carson's is going to be like a fully painted piece.
I know. Yes.
Okay. Yeah, not too thrilled with this one.
But like I said, if you focus on the end product, you're kind of missing the point, because if you're the product, all of this stuff was not like a waste of time if it doesn't turn out, because your brain is physically different than it was an hour ago because you wrestled with something rather than hitting a button saying, do it for me.
Well, this is like hitting the weight room, the artistic weight room. Still doing some reps. You know, if you don't go to the weight room for a while, you're going to lose that muscle. So,
I think what's also deceptive is that everything I'm working on seems like it's failing pretty bad until I look at it the next day. Then it's like, oh, that's pretty good. It fools you. There's like a dark cloud hanging over everything I do. And the next day, it's like, oh, actually, I'm going to put this on Instagram. But at the time, it looked terrible.
How far along are you on the Nevermind? Are you almost done?
Oh, it's pretty much done. I have just dialogue and then just kind of oversee some of the coloring, and then it's put to bed.
So now you're working on something new? Top secret?
No, I have nothing planned yet, so I don't know yet. Probably go back to doing some commissions, because people think when they do commissions that they're getting something. Like, it's not just the money, it's just that I learned a lot from doing commission. I learned a lot from doing advertising work.
All right. Not happy with this chin. Let me take this out. Yeah, this is not good.
It's kind of very dangerous to say. Like, I used to think that if you can picture it, or if it exists in real life, you should be able to do a graphic representation. So the fact that you can't get there, it's a you problem. But I just kind of come to the conclusion recently, like I said, like, with the tools you have, you may not be able to have a good solution. You have to just make it passable. But that should never be an excuse for everyone to kind of nope out of a difficult situation. You should wrestle with it for as long as you can, and then only cut bait. I would say, like, even if you spend an entire day wrestling with something, you should believe that it is possible.
Oh, it is possible. It's just going to take more time than I have right now to get it. And some of that time is also putting this aside and give my eyes a little bit of a rest, so that I can maybe see, what I've been doing wrong.
Or if you wanted to compress the time, flip it over on your
that's what I was going to do next.
And then it's always a bit of a shock when you do that.
That's what I'm going to do next, and then we're going to get out of here. And I'm going to feel like shit for the rest of the night. I hate life.
But this is not the product. You are the product. So.
All right, let's do it. Let's flip it.
Brace yourself. I flipped a drawing and then started throwing up.
No, it's not bad. Flipping it. It's not that bad.
Then the good thing is all the problems jump out immediately, and you can fix it and then within a minute.
It's not that bad. Or if you can look at it small too. If you can look at it small, that'll help. A lot of times I tell people, take a picture with your cell phone and then look at it from your cell phone.
This is a secret that I do with every commission, and it's kind of embarrassing to admit this, but when you're drawing on paper, like sometimes 11 by 17 drawing, you're drawing with pencil. You don't want to commit to ink yet because you don't really know if the pencils are good. The pencil is too light. to see. The drawing is too large for me to take in and see all the problems. Also, I've been looking at it in this right reading orientation for too long. So I scan it in. The first thing I do is darken it so the pencil lines become ink lines, and then change the size from 11 by 17 down to a baseball card size, and then flip a mirror image. So you're seeing that image in 3 different ways, and then every single problem jumps out at you, and then I can make a correction. And I don't think very many artists do that, but it's an instant way, if you're a mediocre artist, to get professional results. And it's a hack that almost no one ever does.
You don't really need a computer to do it, just your phone. Right?
Yeah, I mean, you can do it. Darken it, make it smaller, and see it in reverse. So those 3 things.
The more I look at it, the more disgusted I am with this.
Yeah, I think you're probably just too close to it. But you might like it in the morning.
Might. Again, when you're drawing this jawline, what part of the jaw is it? Is it the very bottom? Is it the top? Is it the middle of the jawline? What is this line right here? If I were to use color, okay, let's do what these guys have done.
Yeah, it's color. It can be all 3 things with color, but with line, you have to pick which part of the body it is.
Look at how easier that is. Look at how easy that is. I just did a little shade.
Yeah. And you can do that. If that's in the rest of your comic, if it's in there, you can do that. But if it's not in the rest of your comic, you're not allowed to.
And look at this. Boom. And I can round it out to make it look more feminine.
Yeah, so you should just change the constraints. Like this is since everyone else kind of did it this way, you can incorporate a secondary, like a middle tone.
And then if you were to add even, see, this is, okay, we have this line, we have this shape of the face, but where's the line? Where is this line? Where is the jawline? Right? Is it in the middle? Is it in the top? Is it in the bottom?
Yeah.
You know,
with an airbrush, it's all of them.
Is it this line? Am I drawing that?
The human face is full of different edge quality, and particularly like the male face, of a chiseled Aryan head is easier to draw because it's like everything's carved and chiseled out of it, and there's more structure you can do. But then when it comes to like a face of like a young girl, it's like, oh, geez. You lose the box, you lose the front and the side. The front side all just kind of blend into each other. What you should watch out for, if something asks a question, like if Facebook says like, hey, of all of these, which one looks the best? And then people pick and they vote. That's AI trying to get a gauge of how to do it by basically data mining, like those captchas where it's like pick out all the cars that are on the street, and it just teaches a computer how to recognize a car.
Yeah, it looks like also this torso needs to be a little higher. It's All right, let's get out of here.
Yeah, this was a tough one. You faced down the most difficult thing to draw.
Sam Draws chose an easier. Which angle did he chose? Chose this angle. He didn't even choose. Chose this angle. Not even. He chose this angle.
Yeah, and if this were a portfolio piece, or if you're trying to get a job, you should kind of pitch yourself some really easy ones you can hit a home run. So he draws that angle well, but yours is much more extreme, and then you're taking a bigger risk. And so I would be very careful if you have to show this to someone to get a job, because it's almost better if you just made it easier by sticking to what you can draw well, what can be drawn well. So now you're working on this one.
Yeah, well, this one's easier. He doesn't want to get exposed.
I think your other one's pretty successful.
Which one? This one?
Well, the one that you're working on the longest. I think if you saw it tomorrow, then you'll post it. Dr. Midnight says if you change something like that millimeter difference, you're talking about the face, particularly like around the eyes, nose. The millimeters do make a difference, and that what makes it really hard. But if you get down to, like, I always use the example of the thing called the popliteal height, which is the length between your knee and your foot. For like a woman, the length between the knee and the foot, you can vary. You can be off by 3 inches, and people won't be able to tell. That's a huge 3 inches. You can just draw really poorly, and no one will be able to know. But then, if you're off by like a millimeter in the face, or particularly if you're drawing the eyes, and the eyes are looking at something specific, if you move the eyeball off by 1 millimeter, then that person is kind of zoning off into space and not looking at. They look like they're daydreaming. But then you move that eyeball 1 millimeter over, and then all of a sudden they're focusing on something, and then they're deep, like they're actually engaging with something or someone. So it is true in the face, the millimeters make a difference. And that's the reason we can scrutinize it so much, is because our very survival dependent on it. Imagine like if you're in a standoff with like another person, like a warring tribe, he has a spear at you, you have your spears at each other. You're looking at his eyes for knowing exactly when he's going to strike, because you want to strike a split second before he does. So it's all in millimeter micro expressions in the T-zone of the face. But then when you get to like the back of the hand, or like the butt, or the popliteal height, that doesn't give you any information. So we can't even tell when it's poorly drawn or even missing.
What is that? Is this also uncanny valley territory or no?
Oh yeah, I mean, the uncanny valley just happens because the millimeters aren't perfected. Fun when you see those CGI, when Star Wars is making like those aliens or whatever. They make sure the eyes are looking at exactly what they're looking at, because they have like the eyes are sort of like lollipop sticks that come out of the eyeball, and they just move those sticks to point at whatever the person's looking at, to make sure that everything looks as real as possible.
All right. I can work on this for I need to get back to. The more I draw, the more I'm changing. How should the neck be?
I think you should pose that as the next part B of that challenge is to tell everyone that succeeded using digital color and gradation to say you can only do this in line, and then you'll watch everyone fail.
I'd be interested in looking at Inkwell. See what he did.
Well, he claims he failed. It kind of looks fine to me, but he has some really wonky anatomy that he caught the next day. You know, when you wake up, you're like, "Oh my God, what was I thinking? That arm is twice as long as it should be." And then he started correcting everything, and finally arrived at something that he claimed was a fail, but posted it anyway because it's content. I should also modify it and say that when you do it in line, there's a difference between doing it in line and finished line, because you can do it in construction wireframe.
Yeah.
And it would work, but if you're doing just like a finished inking line, like you're inking a comic with just line, it's way harder.
That's another point too. I think I see this in a lot of younger artists, especially that are working digitally. They're going straight from roughs to a final ink line, and there's not enough construction, meaning running, doing all of this stuff that I'm doing now, before getting to the final version. Because that final ink line, where it's clean and crisp, it's really just a reaffirmation. But when you're sketching, there's like 3 or 4 smaller lines. And when you get to the final, you're like choosing out of those 3 or 4 one line to indicate. So when it's rough, it can look actually nicer or better because the eye, it fools you. The eye or the brain fills in a lot of stuff that is not drawn yet, but there's enough indication of that. So it makes it seem, it makes it appear better. But when you go into a final ink line, a black and white ink line, there you're making a definitive choice, and it could also not look as good as, sometimes, Sean, I look at your pencils and they look, or I look at my pencils and I'm like, wow, this is really nice. But then when I go and ink it,
yes,
not as
you
nice.
Lose
as,
some for sure.
Yeah, you lose a little bit of that, and that's
the scaffolding is gone, and then the structure and scaffolding sometimes is gone, and only the effects of it show in the end. But the bonus is it's print ready now. You can't print the other thing, so you gain something, but you lose something.
So. Her skull is going to be all behind. There's a lot of skull back here, behind the neck.
Yeah. Because we don't see it, we don't draw it, but there is a lot back there.
Medulla oblongata. All right. Anything else before we get out of here? Who should we rate? I might post this tomorrow. I might not. I don't know. I don't want to get exposed. James Cole or anybody have a suggestion of who we should rate? You guys should try this at home. This is a good. Sometimes there's good stuff on the internet.
Yeah. You are jumping right to the most difficult thing to draw.
Well, that's the most fun, right? I mean, who wants to draw the same thing over and over again? What good is that? What good is it if you're going to play ball to play against competition that is inferior? All right.
So what is this called? It's called the Frieren challenge.
Frieren challenge. Frieren. Sorcerer Supreme, Marvel Comics, comes out December 31st. Make sure you hit that like button on the bottom. If you're watching on YouTube, make sure you hit that like and sub on YouTube. If you're on Twitch, just hit that like. Is there a like button on Twitch? No, just a follower button.
It's a
Anything
heart.
else? Huh?
There's a heart button. Evermind is still taking pledges, surprisingly. I didn't know you could do that, but after the campaign's over, it's still you can back anything that's still available.
Jamie Odell's in chat. Fart Trauma. What is the drawing challenge? The free... Let me write this down.
Frieren
challenge. Carson McKinney. Absolute Batman 14 comes out tomorrow. Okay. All right.
I think it's really good. In the end, I think it turned out really great, and you cranked the head way up more than anyone else did. So you're
the neck could be thinner. I feel like for a female character, the neck could be thinner.
well,
especially for
easy fix.
especially for anime or manga. It's almost super D a lot of times. All right. I'm gonna probably hate this tomorrow.
Oh, you probably like it.
We'll see. Who should we raid? Anybody we should raid? Let's see. Raid. Phil Tomato. Ragut 918. There's a Korean artist drawing TNA. There's a anime, manga, 3D. They're all drawing boobies. I don't see another person.
They stay away from the Frieren challenge because
No one's doing a
too difficult.
Frieren challenge. Or maybe we're just too late. Maybe they did it all last week and we're a little behind the times. Oh, there's a... All right, let me do this first one here. I don't see any. Let's do this. Phil Tomato is intended for certain audiences that may contain themes. This content may not be appropriate for you to watch. Just a warning.
Yeah.
Oh
We have
yeah,
some
it's a
fancy
naked
buttons
girl.
for people. You should try some.
Okay, so no Phil Tomato. What about
It's got 54 people.
Oh, he does, yeah. What about this one? Looks like a bunch of monsters. Baku Hard Day. Baku Hard Day. Let's Or Sean, you want to see the boobies? Okay, I'll raid the boobies. I don't even have to see your expression. I know you want to see the boobies. All right.
I mean, really, the youngest person we had was Carson McKinney, and he's old enough to see boobies.
Carson's a grown man now. We knew him when he was the Get Back coach. Now he's an old fart like us. He's already past. All right. Anything else? Happy holidays. See you guys next week.
Yeah.
Happy Thanksgiving.
Happy Turkey Day.
Happy Thanksgiving. Hope everybody stays safe. Man, I love Thanksgiving because it's pumpkin pie season.
Oh.
Okay. All right. Take care, everybody. Thank you, Yojimbo. Thank you, everybody. Oh, and thanks, Golf Boy Sunday, for subbing last week. Happy Thanksgiving. See you guys next week.
See ya.
Did we raid?
Oh, it's going. I wonder if they really like
Thank you
doing
for
the
bringing
TNA
us,
or whether it's just
People
it's the only way they can get a lot of